I'm sorry. It's time.
Please don't say it.
I know you don't want to hear it, but it's time to say goodbye.
I don't accept this.
You have to, please. I know it's hard and I wish there was another way, but there isn't. There's just no room for you in my suitcase. I hope you can understand.
Was I a good corkboard?
The best. And I'll never forget you. We had some good times together, didn't we?
And what of my legacy? Will you tell people my story?
Should we do it together?
For old time's sake.
It occurred to us that not all game masters had considered integrating the way of the Corkboard into their practice, and we thought that someone should do something about that. The Corkboard is a brainstorming and planning tool that I find particularly useful for adventure drafting. It's versatile, infinitely customizable, and aesthetic. It's the game master tool I didn't know I needed until I gave it a try. And of course, I fell in love. I liked it so much that I don't actually own just one, but 6 of varying sizes, materials, and appearances.
There are others?
Well, you're my favorite, you know that. My scattered brain and its flexibility were a match made in heaven. And maybe you too can find your flame. So I hope we can convince you to open your heart and let yourself be seduced. There's a Corkboard out there for everyone, of varying shapes and sizes, varying textures and colors. While it is a classic, cork as a material is not what makes a Corkboard, at least for our purposes. At least in function, a foam board coated with wallpaper could be a Corkboard. Do you want to tell me a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm not actually from Cork. I'm a polypropylene presentation board manufactured by a communications and printing company.
I met him thanks to my sister. He was meant to be a headboard. My dad made the visual on Photoshop and sent it to be printed so she could use it as a headboard for her bed. And then I adopted it. But as long as you can stick a pin in it, it's functionally a corkboard. So you can make your corkboard your own. You can layer yours with fabric or paint it to fit your home decor. Especially if there happens to be a disgraceful motif on there that doesn't quite vibe with how menacing you want your apartment to look. I've also seen these small sheets of cork that you can arrange however you want on your wall. When finding the perfect match, it's important to consider a few factors to see if you're compatible. First, how much room you actually have in your life or your living room for a corkboard. Whether you want it to fit with your home decor and be stationary, or if you want it small enough to fit in your closet. Whether you want to keep your corkboard all to yourself, or if you're willing to share it with your players. In which case, something small is probably easier to install at the end of your gaming table. Perhaps you may be more drawn to a digital version of a corkboard. I'm an old school kind of gal, so I don't have many recommendations, but I've heard great things about Obsidian. And now that you found the one, you're ready to take your first steps together. The Corkboard's greatest quality is how versatile and adaptable it is. Well, the one way in which it's not really adaptable is that it's not easily portable. Can't really stick it behind your GM screen, but oh well, love is blind.
You know what they say about imperfections, warts and all.
Aside from that, there are infinite ways to use your corkboard. Here are a few ideas for your consideration. Pieces of paper shaped like arrows can give a sense of direction. Or if you laminate a sheet of paper, you can have a section of your corkboard be a dry erase whiteboard. I find that especially useful for creating the roadmap of my adventures, especially if I'm writing a module. Color coding also has its charms. You can color code NPCs, locations, clues by using papers, pins, or strings of different colors. The use of string in itself is a controversial practice. While aesthetically pleasing and heavily featured in pop culture portrayals of corkboards, are they really more hassle than they're worth? It's more decorative than it is ergonomic, or at least that's been the case in my experience. Connecting things is cool, having to recut the string every time you want to move your pin, less cool. But there are a few uses of string that can be super practical. String can be used to create divisions or walls on your corkboard, therefore creating separate zones. Or you can hook laundry pins on a long piece of yarn to create a timeline.
But you know, if that's not your style, there's nothing wrong with going no strings attached.
As for how to actually shape your adventure planning, that's entirely up to you. I could tell you how I divide up my scenes and locations, or where I put clues and suspects, but really none of it would be as helpful as just encouraging you to figure it out by experimenting. It will be different depending on whether you prefer a 3-act structure, a 5-room dungeon structure, or something else entirely. There are as many ways to structure a corkboard as there are ways to craft an adventure. After all, every relationship is unique, and it's up to you and your corkboard to build it together. So many possibilities await, and an endless variety of ways to use your corkboard. But have we not convinced you yet? Why should you even want to give love a chance? Here's a few reasons. First, because how could you not be attracted to its versatility? Like mentioned before, the Corkboard adapts to you and your unique brain, and you have full freedom in how you curate all these moving pieces. Second, because the unholy Corkboard, the Great Web, needs new initiates, and I am contract bound to bring new souls into its service. Could be doing me a solid. Third, I find that I often need something visual to have all the elements in front of my eyes to see the bigger picture, as opposed to a Google Docs where I'm just endlessly scrolling through blocks of text. In my case, I do eventually end up using Google Docs later on. Your relationship with your Corkboard doesn't have to be exclusive. But also, did you know that handwriting, or more generally motor activity, has cognitive benefits? Movement improves focus, activates more brain regions than typing, and leads to better retention and understanding of information.
Something as physical as curating your corkboard might increase your chance of a eureka moment.
Another bonus to the Corkboard is that when people enter my apartment for the first time and see this massive ominous thing on the wall, they realize how much of a menace I really am. And final reason, because aesthetics bring me so much serotonin. I'm more likely to stay engaged in something when there's a creative spark to it. If you're one of those lucky souls who owns a printer, you can put illustrations on there, sigils, and turn it almost into an art project. So if this was enough to convince you to give this tool a chance, let me know how your first date with your Corkboard went.
On this note, good evening.
And may you and your Corkboard embark together on the most beautiful of adventures. Ooh, hold on, before you go. I'm trying really hard to go against my people-pleaser tendencies to share this information, but did you know I have a Patreon? It's not new, I just don't talk about it a whole lot. But if you like what I do here and want to help support making more, you might consider joining maybe. Especially because as of very recently, I have started doing this full-time. Big decisions like that are always a risk, but I like what I do here and I've been itching to make more. And only platforms like Patreon can really guarantee any form of stability. So there are 3 tiers, and if you do join, you get all the videos early, you also get access to the Discord server, and occasionally you get extra stuff like bloopers or work in progress, or little things I make like these cipher wheels that you can use to decode and encode secret messages. Well, anyone can get them in the shop, but if you're a patron, it's free. And also my undying gratitude, you get that too. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Thank you for being here and see you soon.